Okay, so Rocky here is in the kennel because he's a little bit reactive and he has a bite history. We want to make sure that the dog behavior stays safe because it is Friday and I've got a weekend. We also don't want the dog to practice biting like I talked about in the video above. Now, he's kept in the kennel a lot, and he's also tethered a lot, and I think that that is contributing to the problem. It is certainly not the cause of the problem, but I think it's amplifying his anxiety and frustration. And he's acting out because, in some part because of that. So one of the things I want to go over here is how to teach the dog to be released from the kennel in a calm way. Now, if I just open the kennel door, he's just going to run out. So I'm going to pantomime this in a minute, but I'm going to imagine that this kennel is positioned that way with the door right here. So the first thing I do is when I open the door, is I'm going to open it really quickly and then open it like this way and slide my feet in so I'm blocking the kennel door. So he can't exit because my feet are blocking it. Now, first he might whimper or try to push himself out, so just wait. As soon as he kind of backs off a little bit, take a little 6-inch step backwards like that. That's going to probably, at least the first several times, cause him to want to come forward. As soon as he does, we rush forward. I make a hissing sound at the same time to block him from exiting. As soon as he stops pushing in, take another step back. Now, at first it's going to be a lot of this. It's not this fast, I'm just showing you for the motion. So you're only going to move forward towards him when he tries to come out of the kennel. That's your way of saying, no, I disagree. Now, once he stays settled, and you can take that step back and you don't have to go back towards it, then you take another small step back. Don't move too far away. Don't make it inviting for him to come out. Once he sits down, I take a bigger step back. When he sits, he's saying, I'm challenging you less. I want to tell him, I appreciate that, so I'm going to move you closer to exiting the kennel. The only way I can do that is move myself further away from blocking the exit. Now, as soon as he lays down, I take a knee and I say, come, or whatever his command word is. Now, I do this at first just to get him to lay down, and I'm not telling him to sit, and I'm not telling him to lie down. If he does these things on his own accord, he's saying, I'm more relaxed, I'm challenging you less when I sit. When I lay down, I'm saying I'm challenging you, I'm not challenging you at all, I surrender. So as soon as you surrender, you get to come out of the kennel. As long as you challenge, the human's going to outlast you. So you're only going to get your way by doing what the human wants. You're rewarded for doing what the human wants. But I'm not punishing him, I'm not yelling at him, I'm not giving him any direction whatsoever. I'm just rewarding the behavior that I want. Now, eventually what will happen is you're going to be able to come up and open the door and move. I mean, eventually what I was able to do, come and open the door and walk and go on the other side of the house, and the dog can't even see me. Now, you might want to come up with a command word that means you can come out of the kennel. At first, I would just say come or whatever his recall word is. But eventually, you might want to say freedom or release or break or whatever the word is. So when he comes out, you give him the treat and you say break or release or whatever that word is. And that means you can come out of the kennel. So this way, we teach the dog that challenging the human and throwing a temper tantrum is not going to get your way. The human's going to stand there and not react and outlast you 100% of the time. So at first, he might bark at this. First time I had a dog that did that, it was a dog that was actually a dog that was fearful of being in the kennel as a boxer, and it took 45 minutes before it laid down. But it was drooling to such an extent in a kennel because of separation anxiety. It was so much volume, they thought it was urine, and it was just drool. The dog was just in a panic state. So I did this for 45 minutes the first time. Second time, it was like 12 minutes. Third time, it was like 3 minutes. Now, if your dog won't go in the kennel, you just throw a treat in there and keep on doing that with the door open. Let him get the treat and leave over and over again until he has no hesitation. He has no problems being in his kennel. But we don't want the kennel to be what keeps him in there. We want our authority to be what keeps him in there. That's why we open the door and we walk away in a very measured way. And he's not allowed to leave until we give him permission, the command word to come out. So now, there's nothing but air blocking me, so I'm developing self-control as a dog. Something that I don't think he really has any of. And he's going to have to develop that self-control. If we don't have self-control, we can't be polite. We can't follow rules because we don't consider them. We just do what we want to do. So what I'd like everyone to do is practice letting him out of the kennel this way, except for the people that he's bitten. They should be, eventually they could do this exercise, but we're going to have to establish a good foundation first. Now we get to the point where he lays down. As soon as you come and open the door, he lays down right away. Well, now we're ready to take the next step. The next step is to build up that tolerance and that self-restraint. Just like lifting weights, I don't go from lifting 10 pounds to 110 pounds. I go from 10 to maybe 12 to 15. So we're going to do the same thing. When we open the door and he lays down right away, then we'll wait maybe a count of 5. Then I take a step back and say, come. And then everybody would do a count of 5. Then we do a count of 10, count of 15. Then I usually go 15 second, 30 second, 45, 1 minute. Then I go by 1 minute increments up to 15 minutes. Now, when we're doing this, everybody in the house that can do this should do this before. So if we're at 10 seconds, everybody in the house does 10 seconds. We go to 15 seconds if somebody goes out of town, and then we go to 15 seconds, and 30 seconds, and 45 seconds. When that person comes back in town, they just fall in line with where everybody else is. But everyone in the house should do this, because I want the dog to see everyone in the house has the same level of authority more than him. He's a member of the group. We all love him, and you're very welcome here. You just do not have more authority than any of the humans in the house. So the more that you practice this, this is a very simple way for him to develop more self-control and also develop respect for the humans as the authority figures, because you're the ones that are granting him access to come out. He can't use his athletic ability to get around you because he can't get around. We're not forcing him by using a leash or any restraining method other than blocking him physically. And so this takes away the force that I think has contributed a little bit of this problem. And we just have to do what we got to do, but we want to be as force-free as we possibly can unless the dog is injured, going to injure somebody or do something like that. So I would like to see everyone practicing this with the dog at least a couple of times. Since we have a lot of people in here, maybe if I have everybody in the house do it at least once a day, I would make a chart. Put everybody's name on this side, and then 5, 10, 15, 30, 45, and then 1 to 15. Now, for some of my clients, they need to keep on going past this. The rule of thumb is if you can get a dog to do something for up to 2 hours, you don't have to practice beyond 2 hours. So, and another rule of thumb for kennels, dogs get frustrated if they're in the kennel for longer than 4 hours. So we don't want to leave a dog in a kennel for longer than a 4-hour stretch. Overnight is a little bit different because they're dormant. But the idea is if everybody in the house, we got more than a few people in the house, so if everybody's practicing once or twice a day, he should accelerate that process pretty quickly. That's why we have a chart, so everybody else can write their name down or put a check mark in their box so we know where we're at. Oh, we're at 3 minutes today. Okay, we're at 3 minutes, I'll do 3 minutes. But eventually you get to the point where, like I said, you come home, open this, go in the kitchen, wash your hands, come out here, or maybe we have dinner, we say grace, we have dinner, then we say release or whatever the word is, then he comes out. So he's doing the work, not because the kennel is restraining him, because we've taught him how we want him to behave, and he understands that's the way, behaving is the way to get my reward. So this is how you can teach a dog to have a little bit more self-control by just simply limiting when they can come out of the kennel based on their calmness and the amount of time.